Alrighty, I think we are good to go. If Kathleen, if you want to kick us off.
Okay, this is a meeting to talk about the quarterly reporting template for children's psychiatric residential facilities and young adults in transition residential treatment homes that were awarded in the past year and have reporting requirements coming up very soon. I believe October, middle of October is what we're looking at for the first reports. Jessica is coming to the meeting, but she had a conflict, and so I offered to speak on her behalf, and I really don't have a lot to say other than this is for both groups of folks. Is Max up next? I'm not sure who's going after me.
I can go. We'll do the next slide, please. And on camera. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jamal. I'm one of the fiscal team members on the Deloitte team, assisting with the fiscal reporting and processing of the monthly invoicing and the quarterly reports for both Child Psych Res and YAT, like Kathleen just touched on. So we're having this meeting today just to discuss the quarterly reports. We've made a few updates to it to help consolidate information on the project status, expenditures, and other reporting requirements to meet the reporting standards, which were agreed to in the grant agreement. The template will be provided on 9/27, which is today after this meeting, along with a link to the webinar. And future quarterly reporting templates will be released 30 days prior to their due dates. So apologies for the tight deadline with this one. Like I said, we did just make a few improvements to make it easier on your behalf when it came to processing everything. So as Kathleen touched on, this first report will be due October 15th, and it will cover the July 1st to September 30th period. And partners will complete this report quarterly. It's due 15 days after the last day of the quarter. So the next one after October 15th should be for January 15th. And one more note, just please note that as we're going, that it is part of your contractual obligation to complete and return these reports in an accurate and timely manner. Please confirm that all blue cells are populated and the report is certified before submitting. And in the next few slides and in our live walkthrough, we will go through the slides that, or at least the sections that should be submitted by the grantees. And then the ones that are gray would either be automatically filled in by the fiscal team or just not applicable for you to fill out in your quarterly report. Then, can you go to the next slide, please? All right, so first we'll do our instructions tab, and you'll note at the top that we put in parentheses which program it applies to. There's one step that varies between Children's Psych Res and YAT, and we'll go through that in more detail. But the instructions tab, it contains the detailed instructions that outlines our objectives, eligible activities, reporting timelines, and a summary of each tab. Blue cells are the ones that need to be populated, and gray cells are the ones that are auto-populated based on information we received through your grant agreement. And also you'll see in here that like I mentioned, this one's due October 15th. The next one will be due January 15th, and every 3 months going forward, the quarterly reports will be due. And the next tab, please. So tab 1. So first we have our grantee information. The part that is populated in gray, organization, contact name, contact phone number, or contact email, are all grayed out as they're populated from your grant agreement information. If any of those information changes, such as let's say you have a new person that is responsible or that you have as your authorized agent that will be certifying and that we should be contacting, please reach out to your grant administrator, whether it be Jessica or Kathleen. They can make the update or they can notify us and we'll make the update on our end. You fill it out with your date that you're filling out your report. Prepared by would be your name, and OHA reviewed by, that it will be for us to fill out. We will update that where it is gray, along with your grant agreement number. And you'll see coming up that once you put in your grant agreement number, all of your funding information auto-populates. You will fill out construction complete, yes, no, or in progress. And if the answer is no, the cells in section B will turn blue as seen below, and these need to be populated. The project start date is what you will complete along with the proposed completion date. And then we have our percent completion benchmark along with the expected date of full occupancy, bed and unit capacity upon project completion. And you'll note that the expected date of full occupancy and bed and unit capacity are grayed out. Again, these were pulled in from the grant agreement. We have added 2 new sections below it that puts, if this has changed, please provide the new date. And we are aware that this will be an estimated date that you're expecting to have full occupancy within the completed project. And again, we are also aware that delays do happen. It is construction, so it is no problem. It is something that we can update on our behalf for you. And you will also update the total number of beds in units in the completed project if that has changed. The next 3, progress since last update, barriers and mitigation strategies, and optional community outreach of projects. Those are narratives where you can put just detail the progress that you've had since the last quarter. If things are going according to plan, you can put that. If you're noticing any barriers and mitigation strategies, such as probably it's hard to find a contractor in time, or probably it's difficult to make the necessary updates within the timeline, you would put that in there. That just helps us to keep track of how your project is going along. And finally, the optional status of what is your community outreach of project promotions or other stories. If you have any feel-good moments or any accomplishments that you've had within the last quarter, you can use that field just to fill it in. And same thing, that's just for our internal keeping purposes. The next tab, please. So this is the quarterly report expenditure information, section C. Total approved amount is automatically pulled in from your grant agreement. Whatever amount you were approved for, you'll see those buckets here. Previous amount spent is what will be populated based on the information that we have through your prior monthly and quarterly reports. For this first quarter, we have not started receiving monthly invoices as yet. So that is why you'll see July, August, and September are all blue. But going forward, granted that all monthly invoice submissions are received within a timely period, we can auto-populate this information on your behalf so that you will not have to populate it in your monthly invoice and also in your quarterly invoice. But the purpose of this is just that it's used as a reconciliation period, just to ensure that all costs that you are claiming are being properly accounted for. And then again, it also helps you to keep track of what's previously been spent, what have you spent, and what's remaining going forward for your future remaining quarters that you have. And then the next tab, please. So this one, tab 2, is a YAT only requirement. This one is where all of your programmatic information is being filled out, such as if you have treatment services, do you have your facility information, how many beds are being admitted, what is open, how many young adults have you been approved for within the last quarter, and how many discharges. So where service requirements and facility information is reported. And I just want to note that, again, I know that this is also a requirement for children's psych res. We did run it with Kathleen prior, and Kathleen keeps it separately. So that is why it is not on the children's psych res template. However, this information is still required for children's psych res, even if it is not being required in our templates currently, as Kathleen is tracking that separately within her reporting information. So for YAT people, like I said, this will be filled out. I do believe that this is all highlighted gray because the construction complete no status. So once construction is complete and you've started accepting residents into the facility, then you will have to answer on if you are, 1, meeting your service requirements, and 2, the facility information. And all of this information is tracked internally. Then our next tab, please. The certification tab. So OHA does require that an authorized signator for your organization certifies the report is complete and accurate. Through that, we have the authorized agent signature, their title, and their date. And that is what you will certify on the last tab, that everything that you have provided is complete and accurate. And typically, we tend to match the authorized agent to, like I said, who is given to us in the grant agreement, or I believe sometimes they'll ask me, hey, we're seeing a new signature. Should this person be replaced as the authorized agent? But that's just for us to ensure that whoever is reporting this on your behalf has the right to do so, to report this on your behalf, as these are grant funds being used. So we just want to make sure that everything is complete and accurate to the best of your ability and to the best of your knowledge. And next, we will do the live report walkthrough. I'll share my screen for this one, Max, if that's okay.
Yep, go for it.
Before I continue, I should first stop by asking, does anyone have any questions? Maybe the live walkthrough of the template may clarify anything, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to speak up now. Okay. And just please let me know when you can. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Sorry, it's freezing.
We can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. My computer is freezing, but let's see if it'll work now. Sorry, it's freezing on me. All right, so the first thing I'll go over is we're going to go over the YAT quarterly report work template, for the simple fact that, like I said, YAT has an extra tab, which is tab 2 YAT requirements. My computer is freezing, but we're going to go. So the first thing that we have is our instructions tab. The first thing you'll notice that we have, please send the completed reports to both the OHA SDOH team. That is our shared inbox, along with kids.team@odhsoha.oregon.gov. The kids.team is a shared inbox with both Jessica and Kathleen. So by doing that, that provides greater visibility into our team that is reviewing the report, along with Jessica and Kathleen knowing that you have submitted the report. So this is not working. Right, I'm going to stop sharing only because it's freezing, and then I'll come right back on in seconds.
Hi, Kathleen, I see your hand.
And you're on mute, Kathleen. Sorry.
Yes, I am. Sorry about that. I was hoping when Jamal comes back on, if he could make it larger, because it was kind of difficult to see. The print's pretty small. Thanks.
Absolutely. No problem. Okay. Let's see. Is it better now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. And my computer is operating much better. So thank you. All right. So we have our grant program objectives. We have the quarterly reporting information, which I touched on earlier. Again, blue shaded cells require input by the individual completing this form, whereas gray shaded cells contain links, formula, and references, and they do not need to be edited. Like I said, we have the two the 2 email addresses where they should be emailed to upon completion. And then here just goes through all of the instructions or notes for each given tab, whether it be on tab 1, and then you'll see tab 2 for, as it says, applicable for completed projects only, which I touched on earlier with YAT. And then tab 3 with certification. So now we'll get into tab 1. I'm just going to zoom in for you. Like I said, all information for organization, contact name, contact phone number, and contact email will auto-populate. Once you input your grant agreement number, you will update the date of the report. So let's just say 09/27/2023, and the name that it's prepared by. And then this, there's no action needed. We will change this to gray so that you're also aware that there's no action needed on your end. We have added call-out boxes. Go to the right. For section A, saying once the grant agreement number has been entered, again, organization, contact name, email, phone number are automatically populated. And again, if any of this information needs to be updated and or corrected, please email those updates and we will update those on our end for you. You will identify if construction is complete here through yes. I can get to it. So if you do yes, this automatically blocks out. If you do no, you will have to fill out section B. And you'll put in with your project start date. So let's just say, for example, it's September 1st, 2023. And your proposed completion date is December 1st, 2023. And you can put that it is, let's just say less than 50% done. Again, this will auto-populate based on the date of your grant agreement. If, for example, it was supposed to be completed December 1st and your expected date of full occupancy is December 31st, you can update it to, let's say, 2/28/2023, and that will flag it for us that we need to go in and also make that update on our end, that there has been a change. And again, progress since last update, barriers and mitigation strategies, and optional, these are all for you to fill out on your own based on how your individual progress is going within the project. For expenditure information, like I said, for this quarter, being that we don't have any information, this will have to be populated. One thing I will just do an example. Let's just say for legal, if you spent $10, if you go over the budget of $0, it will highlight red to say that you have spent more than your budget is allowing. So it will highlight it red for you. Whereas if it's still within budget, it will remain the gray color and it won't change. But like I said, we added this in total budget just so that you can also keep an idea of how many funds do I have left in the remaining bucket, whether it be building acquisition, financing fees, training and consultant fees. So we have added that feature so that you also have greater visibility into how your spending is going, and also to see, okay, what happens, or like, have I passed the budget? So it will highlight it red for you. And at the bottom, it does calculate it based on the month, what were the total costs, what were the development costs, and what were the sum, along with what was the sum within the last quarter of how much that you spent. So I'm going to change the construction complete to yes, so that our YAT grantees can see for the requirements. Oops, too much. So I've changed it on yes, and you'll notice that once we change it to yes, tab 2, service requirements and facility information are both highlighted blue to show that yes, you have to fill it out. So it will ask you, does it have treatment services? You'd say yes. If you're putting no or in progress, then you would have to provide updates here. So why don't you have it, or what barriers are you coming across that you weren't able to have it at the current moment? Any other services that aren't listed, same thing. Yes, no, or in progress. And if there are no services are not listed, then of course, please provide a narrative on the services that were provided. Same thing. What were the number of young adults that you have currently admitted? The number of beds that are open? How many discharges did you have? Or how many young adults were approved for admission? So tab 2 will again only be answered if we have yes. If you put it to in progress, it's or no. you go. You'll see it's grayed out. Okay, but if it's in progress, I have to double check with the in progress, but it should be grayed out for it being that your services are not open as yet. And then finally, tab 3, I will zoom in. For the authorized agent to sign, title and date. I have noticed some people prefer to print this page and then they physically sign it, scan it in. Some people type in their name. Either one is sufficient. Once it has the signature of some sort, a title and a date, that is sufficient for us on our end on certification. So I may have gone through that pretty quickly. Does anyone have any questions? And I will stop sharing so I can see. Oh, and I see Kathleen. Okay, I will pass it over to JP if there's anything else for us to cover. Thank you everyone for your time today.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamal. So the last piece that we want to cover is just why are these quarterly reports important to complete accurately and in a timely manner. And we've provided a few items here that these quarterly reports just help and support. So the initial one just being success stories are highlighted on the OHA's website and through media features. Obviously, if your organization is okay with that and gives OHA permission, any success stories that you put in the quarterly report, OHA would love to show off. The second being through these reports, OHA can find areas where OHA has an organization should shift or tailor support to better serve your organization and the community as a whole. So if there are areas that you are seeing in the community that need additional support or roadblocks that a lot of the organizations partnering with OHA are seeing, these quarterly reports are just an easy way for us to gather that data and be able to strategize on how to move forward and better serve, like I said, your organization and the community as a whole. The third being these reports provide OHA and the state of Oregon policymakers with the key information needed to develop strategies and make policy decisions for the future that can impact the work in our community. So when policymakers are making the decisions for future funding or future House bills to fund programs of this nature, having the data and the information to back up that these programs are successful and that we are seeing outcomes that are supported in the communities is always beneficial to those policymakers as they're making those decisions. And then the last is just to reconcile the monthly expenses and provide programmatic data. So we know as you're submitting your monthly invoices for the work that is being done, this is just an easy way for us to make sure that all of that is on track, and also that you're on track to complete the project without exceeding the NTE or needing additional funding and things of that nature. So Max, I think that is all we have. If you can go to the next slide. Yeah, absolutely. So the last thing is just, we want to hear from you. So if you have any specific questions, comments, concerns about the quarterly reports, feel free to reach out to Kathleen or Jessica or email the SUH shared inbox that is there on that slide. And we will loop in the necessary individuals and make sure we get an answer to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for joining today, and let us know if you need anything.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.